Since last summer, prices for graphics cards have came down a lot since crypto mining isn't as big as it used to be, which means a lot of you watching this video are probably looking to build your gaming computer now that you have the opportunity to do so. So for those people, this video is for you. Hey guys, this is Nick, and in today's video I have a $700 gaming computer that will be able to knock games out of the park in 1080p or even 1440p. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So up first for the processor, we have the i5-8400 6-core processor for $170. The i5-8400 is a great 6-core coffee-like processor that will be able to handle games extremely well. For the build, I didn't go with an i7 or a Ryzen 7 because usually you don't need a great processor for PC gaming. You just need a processor that won't bottleneck your graphics card, or basically hold your graphics card back from performing at its full potential. However, if you are planning on doing something like video editing, you might want to consider a better processor such as Ryzen 7 or Core i7. But at the same time, if you don't necessarily have the budget for a better processor, this one should do just fine. Again, you can buy this processor for $170 on Newegg. Up next for the motherboard, we have the MSI Z370A Pro motherboard for $100. Now, this motherboard doesn't necessarily provide a lot of upgrading opportunities. You can get up to 64 gigs of RAM if you so wish. However, I don't necessarily know why you would do that. It has Crossfire support but no SLI support, so if you'd ever want to put the graphics card I'm going to recommend in this video into SLI and get another one, then you'll have to look at other motherboard options. However, this motherboard should do just fine, and once again you can pick it up for $100 on Outlet PC. Next, we have the memory, and for the memory I went with a single 8GB stick of a G.Skill 300MHz RAM for about $70. So a lot of games do recommend 16 gigs and not 8 gigs, especially in 2018 since technology and graphics are advancing, but with the budget I had in mind for this build, 8 gigs was the best I could do, especially since RAM prices are still a little high. But ultimately, 8 gigs of RAM in your system should be able to hold up well for the time being. I've said this before, but in my old system I had 6 gigs of RAM, and I was able to play games like The Witcher 3 and Rise of the Tomb Raider at decent settings and a decent frame rate. And on top of that, I had a lot of friends who only have 8 gigs of RAM in their system, and their computers are holding up just fine. So 8 gigs of RAM should do you just fine for now, but keep in mind that you may have to upgrade soon. Again, you can buy this RAM for $70 on Newegg. Up next for the storage, we have Western Digital's Caviar Blue 1TB hard drive for about $40. So for the storage, since the budget was only $750, I kind of had to make a compromise here. My compromise was including a 1TB hard drive but not a 128GB SSD. However, I thought that most people would want some base storage over just a mere 128 gigs of fast storage, so the choice made sense to me. However, if you do have the extra money, I would eventually get a solid-state drive, since basically solid-state drive storage is just extremely fast. If you load Windows onto your SSD, you'll be able to boot up your computer in about 15 to 30 seconds, where if you load Windows onto a hard drive, it might take a minute or two. And on top of that, game load times will get a lot faster as well if you load them onto your SSD. I load most of my games onto my solid-state drive, and my games launch very, very fast, and it's an investment worth making if you have the money. However, for now, you can buy this hard drive for $40 on Amazon. For the graphics card, we have the Geforce GTX 6GB mini model from Gigabyte for $290. So this graphics card is actually the lowest price 1060 on the market right now, as other 6GB models are actually going for around $300 to $320. So $290 is a pretty good price for this card, but you'll have to act fast to get it. As for gaming, this card will be great for gaming. You'll be able to play all of your games in 1080p high settings at 60 FPS, and you might even be able to crank a few titles up to 1440p, as long as you're willing to turn some of those settings down. It's a great graphics card, and paired up with this build's parts, it will be able to destroy your games in 1080p and 1440p. Again, you can pick up this graphics card for $290 on Newegg. Next, for the power supply, we have EVGA's BQ 600 watt bronze certified power supply for $35. Now, there isn't much to say about it. It's a power supply that will be able to power all of your PC parts. It's bronze certified, so it isn't amazing, but again, you get what you can pay for. You can buy this power supply for $35 on Amazon. And lastly, for the case, we have the Thermaltake Red and Black ATX full-size case for about $30. So again, not much to say about this case either. It's a full-sized ATX case, so you'll be able to fit all your parts in there. It's a nice looking red and black case, but if you don't like it, there are other color options available as well. Again, you can buy this case for $30 on Newegg. And that's all I have for today's video. If you liked it, please make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel and like the content, please be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications. And that's all from me, but again, I will see you guys all later. Bye guys.